Pardon me, but would you happen to have any Grey Poupon?
But of course.
Grey Poupon, one of the finest things in life. I think it really is. I love Grey Poupon. It's vegan, and it's a key ingredient in my vegan grilled cheese that I like to call grilled cheese for grown-ups. It has mustard, sweet onion jam, and a little bit of baby arugula to add some pepperiness. And we put a little bit of vegan butter on top to make it nice and crispy. And who doesn't like a crispy grilled cheese sandwich with a hearty tomato soup? And that's what we're gonna do right now. So first thing I do is get a pan nice and hot, and then I add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, about a tablespoon or so. We get the oil nice and hot. So we get hot pan, hot oil, and we're gonna add our chopped onions. And don't worry about how you chopped up the onions because it's all gonna get pureed. So the next thing I do is take a couple of cloves of garlic and crush them, drop them in, and go in there with the onions and get them nice and caramelized. The caramelization pulls out the sugar. It's gonna add a nice sweetness to the tomato, which is gonna balance, because remember the tomatoes have acid. So while the onions are caramelizing, we're gonna chop up the tomatoes. And I like to do this in the easiest way possible, which is instead of like taking another knife out and coring them out, we just cut them in half and slice off the tips. And we're gonna chop them up. This soup is so killer. You don't have to tell people that it's vegan, or you just tell them it's tomato soup. And that's the key. The way I cook vegan is it doesn't really matter that it's vegan. It's incidentally vegan. So now I'm just gonna throw the tomatoes into the caramelizing onions. Let those rock for a little bit while I make the stock. This is better than bouillon, no chicken stock. For soup, I like it nice and bold. Taste it. If it's bold, great. If it needs more flavor, add some more of that base. So we're adding the stock. This is how easy this soup is too. It's just a snap. Onions, garlic, tomato, vegetable stock. And then we're gonna add in a little bit of potato. The potato's gonna take the place of heavy cream. It's gonna give it a nice, rich texture. It's like no calories compared to heavy cream. And there we go. A little bit of salt, some pepper. I love how easy this soup is. It's just simple ingredients. Let it simmer for about 10 minutes till the potato's nice and soft. And we're gonna come back and puree it and add a little bit of fresh basil. All right, so my soup has simmered for 10 minutes, that's it. We're gonna bring our blender over here, throw it in. So, do this safely. This is the only thing that can cause a little bit of danger. You got hot soup, you're throwing it in the blender, you forget the lid, it goes everywhere, it's a disaster. Then we're gonna throw it onto the blender here. It just takes a couple of seconds. Be sure you're on low. Seriously, that's it. Then we're gonna throw in this fresh basil. You can chop it up by hand, but why? You have a blender that does it for you. It's amazing. Amazing. Okay, throw it all in here. And then again, turn it on for a couple of seconds. You can go super smooth if that's the texture you want. I like to leave it just a little tiny bit chunky. Low, then high. Watch for those little green specks. And that's it. Beautiful, rich, velvety, thick, creamy tomato soup. So dish it up, about 8 ounces, whatever looks good in the bowl that you're serving. There we go. No garnish necessary. You have all those beautiful specks of green basil. All right, and there it is. Beautiful, rich, vegan tomato soup. Amazing. And now, what goes better with tomato soup but grilled cheese? So I'm gonna make you my grilled cheese for grown-ups. I love tomato in my grilled cheese, but the biggest mistake people make all the time is they slap a little sliced tomato in there and it's wet and soggy and it blows the whole thing. So be sure, slice up your tomato nice and thin and pat it dry. I like to make a little blanket for my tomatoes in here. Throw them in here, guys. See that? Then pat them down. Great, beautiful. So the next thing we're gonna do is pull our bread out and butter it up. All right, so I love this vegan butter. I really, really do. This is what makes the difference. Earth balanced butter. And it works great when you're cooking too. So you don't need a lot of it, like a teaspoon, and you can put it into the pan, but I like to spread it on to make sure that every little corner is nice and even. And this little combination, crispy bread, is what makes the grilled cheese and tomato soup combo so awesome. And remember, this is going in the pan. Ay caramba. This is going in the pan, so this goes face down. And then you throw on the Grey Poop. All right, be generous with the Grey Poupon. And if you don't like mustard, too bad. I'm telling you, try it with the Grey Poupon. It makes a difference. Vegan food, it's a sum of its parts. When you add in like charred tomatoes and charred peppers and onions, that's where it really starts to jive. And this sandwich is no different. All right, this is so easy. You're just gonna throw on some little tomatoes in here. This sandwich, cup of soup, little simple salad, I could have that for dinner. You get home late at night, you have this stuff at home. You make this ahead of time. You don't have arugula, so what? But if you do, great. So we're gonna throw in some of this onion jam. Amazing stuff. All right, there we go. Then we're gonna throw on our vegan cheese. This stuff is great. If it comes in these little like American cheese wrappers, it's really yummy. So we'll throw the cheese in there. I like to spread it out so every little corner has a little bit of cheese on there. Then we're gonna throw in some baby arugula. Then we're gonna throw on our topper. Remember, butter side up. All right, this is the key moment right here. A low heat, lay it down gently. And I know you've made grilled cheese a million times in your life and you've never covered it. But this is why you wanna cover the grilled cheese. This is huge. The heat's coming from the bottom. You don't want the heat to just toast the bottom of the bread before the cheese has a chance to melt. You want heat coming from all directions so that the cheese melts at the same time the bread toasts. Then you flip it, the cheese melts a little bit more, you pull it out and it's done. None of this flippy stuff and checking it and it's burnt and you pull it off and you throw another one on. I've done that. All right, so now we're gonna check it out. We're gonna flip it. It's only been like 2 minutes. It doesn't take that long. Low and slow. Let's have a look-see. Amazing, look at that. So we put it down, hear a little sizzle, maybe give it a little smash, get the cheese going. Remember, cover it. So it's been about 1.5 minutes. Let's see how this bad boy looks. Phenomenal. Nice and golden brown and delicious, GB and D, that's what we call it. All right, so here's our plate. I like to cut it corner to corner, but it doesn't really matter. See how the cheese is melted right here? It's because of the cover, because you listened. Okay, so we're gonna throw this down. There's the arugula, the onion jam, all this business. I know you wanna take a bite of this thing. Come on, Dan, don't be shy. It's amazing.
Oh no. That's really good.
Isn't it? For this and other awesome vegan recipes, subscribe to the Hungry channel on YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your non-vegan friends, because they're gonna make this food and they're gonna love it.